What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a new video. New subscribers, you know what it do.
What's up?
Yeah, what's happening, everybody? Hey, welcome back. And today we about to do, yes, another suspension handling mod. So we got this. I didn't change, so let's just do a recap real quick. Okay, so we got the front sway bar, which I left stock. And the only thing I did was I changed the end links on it and the bushings. Okay, we did that. So now I also did the sway bar, the strut tower bar for the front as well. And then we did the parent sway bar in the rear. We did 25 millimeter one. And now we back here in the rear again. So we're gonna do the strut tower bar for the rear. And we get to get all JDM and everything because it came straight from Japan. Because it's got all the writing and the instructions. Oh my goodness, let me show y'all this thing. So let's take a look at what we got on the bench. Here we go, y'all. We got the Beatrush strut tower bar. Now, why did I choose this and any other one? Usually when you get a strut tower bar, you're gonna lose a little real estate in the trunk, but this one, you're not gonna lose any real estate in the trunk. It's gonna look like nothing is even there. If you're looking for that sleeper look, people are not even gonna know. Even though if they look under the car, they're gonna see the red sway bar that's under there, so they're gonna know something is up. But anyway, I like it because it's stealthy and it doesn't take away anything from the rear, but as we get into the install, I'll show y'all that. But there is an app that you can use to read these, but the pictures do a good job of explaining anything, and this is a fairly easy install anyway. Really all you're doing is just taking out two bolts and you're adding these little attachments. This came along with the kit, and I'll show y'all where this goes whenever we get to that portion of the install. But it has everything you already need, and you're gonna be reusing the stock shock tower bolts. So the first thing we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to empty out everything from the trunk. So we're gonna go ahead and take this little liner out. And well, we're gonna take everything out of the trunk, and then I'll show you what we're working with. All right, fam, so here we go. We got everything out of the trunk. All the little liners, well, not all of them, we still got these in there. I'll take these out. Take these out too, just get them out of the way. So we're gonna be working in this area right here. So now there will be some adjustments that needs to happen to one of the liners, but as we get to that, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about whenever I get to that point. But for right now, basically, we're gonna be working right underneath here where we have the two bolts on the shock tower right there. They're in there. And then we got a little insert, but I'll show you that goes in here. So it's really gonna be 3 points of contact, the two bolts here, and then one that's gonna go right here to secure it down. So let's go to the bench and let's do what we have to do on that end to get that part of the process started. All right, so what we wanna do is we wanna just separate the end pieces from the middle section, and we're gonna have to put it together that way. So what I'm gonna use here, this is a 8 millimeter Allen socket that I'm using here, and for the bolts that goes into that other fitting, it's gonna be a 5 millimeter Allen socket, or an Allen. So let's go ahead and let's take this off, and then we'll get this into the trunk. All right, so now we're gonna take these pieces here, get these over to the trunk, and go ahead and set them down. That is pretty much how they're gonna go, just like that. And then, now this other part's gonna be a little bit tricky here, trying to get up underneath here with a wrench to loosen up those bolts. And I believe the torque spec on these is 22 foot-pounds for these two bolts here. So let me go ahead and get the socket that I need to loosen that up, and then we'll go ahead and put that in there. All right, so we're gonna have here, these are gonna be 14 millimeter. It's gonna need a 14 millimeter socket to get on that nut. That, just loosen those off. It doesn't really even take too much force to to get these things loose. I probably could have used a ratchet and wrench. That'd be a little easier to get in there. But then I don't have to do too much bending back and don't have to risk damaging anything down here. See, doesn't really require too much pressure to get it off of there. And now I'm gonna take these bolts out of here. All right, and so now we just slide this right on in there, put it over the 2 bolts there, and whoa, wait a minute, hold on now. Maybe I got the wrong side. Yeah, I had the wrong side over there because this should just fit right over this little section right here. So there it is. So now let's get into the extra little components that you have here. So now we have this little attachment right here. And see, this little piece right here is going to be with this bolt right here. And you got a lock washer and you got a washer. So of course you're going to have, you know, the lock washer first, then the washer. And what you're going to do is you're going to slide this in there with the threaded part right here facing down. And it's got a little tab you can hang on to. And what you're going to do is slide it right into this little bottom section right here. And it should slide right in there like so. And then at that point, you're going to be looking for the bolt hole where it is. Start a few threads. And then we are in there. And now all I got to do is put the other bolts in there, tighten them down. I'm probably not going to put a torque wrench in here. I'm just going to put it down there as tight as I can. Shouldn't be a big deal. Besides 22 foot-pounds, it's not much at all. My hand tight is way tighter than that, so I'm going to do that. But if you want to use a torque wrench, you can. It's just going to be a little tight squeeze to get it in here. Plus, you might risk the chance of tearing this up right here, which I don't want to do. All right, so let's get that going. All right, so now we'll tighten these down. All right, so let's tighten that all the way down. That's already tighter than it was before I took it off. Let's go. All right, that's there. Now we get our 5mm Allen socket, and then we tighten this all the way down. And from there, I'm gonna probably hold this. You don't have to because this little tab sticking up is gonna catch on either end here, but I'm gonna do it the way I'm gonna do it. And there we go. Now I'm going to rinse and repeat the same process on the other side. And then we'll get into what we have to adjust to get this thing to fit in there flush and perfect. All right, that's it. So really, when you're lifting this little tab in there, you just look through the top through that hole. You'll see where the opening is on there, and you just start threading it down there by hand, and then at that point, just hold it and screw it down. Not that hard at all. Fairly easy to do. So now we need to get into the part where we got to do the adjustment. So let me clear some of this stuff out of here, and then we'll take a look at it. Okay, so here we go. So right now, I just have it sitting on top of there. There may be a slight chance I may have to loosen things up a little bit because it seems to be, it's not fitting in there easy, but I can just probably just mallet it in there to be fine. But so I got it kind of sitting where it's going to be at, and as you can see right there, all I have to do is, like, I have a blade. I'm gonna cut down the side of this to know exactly where I need to cut and how much I need to gouge out of this area here. And then what I'm going to do It's cut. I'm gonna cut the little, I'm gonna mark the little territories where I need to cut it. Then I'm gonna take this section out and then pretty much dig me a little trench. And I'm just gonna keep doing it until I get it till it fits just right in there and it goes into place like it should. All right, so this is what I did here. I pretty much just used one of these blades. Now there's a drop off right here on there. Let me cut that in there really good so you can see it. So from that point right there, because you know it steps down. If you guys can see that, it steps down. So what I did is I just cut this. I cut it to this point to where it stops at. Cut it this way the way I know where I need to aim with here. So from there I just stabbed it here and cut through here. This thing was giving me all types of trouble because the blades kept coming out. But I did the same thing over here to try and gouge it out and then work my way from this side as well. So that's what I did on both sides. So let's see if that was enough. If it's not, then that means I'm gonna have to do a little bit more trimming, but let's see how this looks. All right, we got the insert back in the trunk. So now let's see what we're looking like here. This is looking pretty good. So let's use the mallet here to try and tap it into place a little bit. And that looks absolutely perfect. So now that looks like it's in there good. I don't know if it still can get pushed down in there a little bit more. All right, so now let's get with the hard part here, and that's trying to feed these bolts through there. That's gonna be somewhat of a nightmare here. So I may have been a little bit, no, I'll put these things in here. See if I can get them in there. That's there, look at that. Oh man. So I might have to go from this side. I'm gonna have to gouge this part out right here a little bit, just so I can have me a little bit more room to get these bolts in there. So I'm gonna have to cut that out. All right, so I did one on the other side here. I'll show you guys that, just so I can kind of see how far I needed to cut. So what I had to wind up doing is cutting this part all the way out just so I can get the bolt in there to go in on the other side. You see, well, that's what it looks like. This is the before and this is the after, what it looks like. So you kind of got to cut that out. Cool thing about this is nobody's going to see this anyway, so it's not a big deal. So let me go ahead and let me start cutting this up on this side here. There we go, right here. Right there, and then from there I'm just gonna cut at an angle right there. So now I should be able to pull that out of there just like that. And then from there I should be able to, slide the bolt right on in there. At that point you gotta put, on this side you're gonna put your washer, your lock washer, and then the nut on the other side of that. We got that there. Let me get both my hands in here. Probably gonna obstruct y'all's view a little bit, but I don't want to drop any washers down in there. I need those. And there we go. So now all we need to do is tighten this up. And like I told you guys, you're gonna need an 8mm Allen socket and a 17mm wrench to hold the nut on the other side. And then we just tighten this guy down. Alrighty, there we go. And there we go. It's a done deal. So that is what we're looking like. And the fact that I did it with a razor, it makes the cut look really clean there. I don't know if you guys can see that really good or not, but that's it. It's flush in there. Looks like it was there from the factory. So that's the finished product, man. It's not that bad of an install. It's pretty easy. Just some little mild adjustment just to this styrofoam stuff, which is really no big deal. All right, so there y'all go, man. Here's another final look at that, man. Looks flush, looks factory, looks good in there. Hopefully it's not too much light in there. There we go. But there we go. That's it. It's in there. And now, once I put the rest of the trunk coverings in there, which I'll do that real quick and I'll show you guys what that looks like. And there we go. We got the trunk thing in there and the trunk cover in there. And look, it's like nothing is ever there. So now we get to stick to our ninja roots and we get to be stealthy. So we got some hidden performance there. And it doesn't take away any of your trunk space because, you know, most rear strut boards, they kind of come up this way. They do have the cross beam one, but I didn't want that because like I said, I don't want to lose none of my trunk space. So there you go. All right, y'all. So there you go, man. That's it. As always, I will link that in the description. Matter of fact, I'll even link the type of cutter that I have right there that I use for that, so that you guys can use something similar to the same thing, and you'll be able to cut into that a little bit easier than, you know, trying to gouge it out and make it look real nice and neat. You know what I mean? So I'll link all of that in the description. Easy install. So I'm gonna do the review on this one a little bit different. It's almost gonna be in 2 parts. So stay tuned for that. I think y'all might like it. So I'm gonna try and put it together and hopefully I can have some success with it. If not, then it's probably gonna be a regular review, but I'm gonna push really hard to do what I'm planning because I'm planning something and I think it's gonna be pretty cool. Y'all might enjoy it, but we'll see. So again, appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all if y'all made it this far into the video. Thank you to the new subscribers, man. Y'all are awesome, man. We are having some nice, steady growth on the channel. Really loving that. Again, if you're on the fence, hey, man, go ahead and subscribe, man. So make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification so you get notified whenever I put out a video. And until that next video, fam, peace.